Do you want?
Two.
Oh, it's rolling
Two.
now. Oh
Awkward.
shit! I didn't know we were already on.
All right, nice, yeah.
All right. Um, yeah. So week 3 here. We've got a special guest. I'll let him introduce himself. Tell us about your name and where you're from and what you're up to.
Thanks. My name's Koby Yudkin. I'm a Portland-based climbing guide and, I don't know, wannabe alpinist climber, I guess. But yeah, I've been, I don't know, a guide or guiding for about 7 years. Kind of started that part of my career in New Hampshire and then slowly found my way back out to the West Coast. Kind of now been based in Portland and in Oregon for, I don't know, 4 to 5 years now and guiding on Mount Hood.
Nice.
But yeah, I guess the fun part is just started my own business with a good homie of mine, and we're really focused on climbing and education for, everyone from beginner to super experienced.
And what's your company called?
It's called Trillium Alpine Guides.
Nice.
Yeah, named after my favorite flower, the trillium flower that's, prominent here in the Northwest, and wanted to kind of give like a homage to Mount Hood, like that famous Trillium Lake, like looking up at Hood. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's, I don't know, the story behind it.
So what kind of what are you? So you're guiding like all mediums or just rock?
Yeah,
Skiing, everything.
yeah, all mediums. I would say my end and my expertise is certainly like on the climbing side of the world. So, rock, ice, snow, and occasionally, I like to use gravity on my side to go downhill. And my partner Ben is a quite talented like ski alpinist skier. So I feel like that's sort of his side of the whole thing. But he's a very strong and talented climber in his own right too. So,
Nice.
yeah.
And so you've been working with Timberline Mountain Guides. How long have you been doing that for?
Yeah. So this will be 4 years working for them.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually met Pete on an AMGA course when I was working for another company up in Seattle or up in Washington area. And I mean, Pete is just the man, so it's hard not to
Absolutely
want to get along and work with him. But he was telling me all about his Mount Hood program where, they take a snowcat up to the top of Timberline and then climb and come back down within the same day and get to go rock climbing in the afternoon. And I basically said, where do I sign up? So
nice.
that was, when I met him and started working for him. I mean, that must have been, 2020, maybe 2019. Yeah.
Awesome.
A few years ago.
So what's it like going from, working for another guide service to starting your own deal, being on the entrepreneurial side of things?
That's a good question. I mean, it's like, it's super fun. As I'm sure you know, it's like the opportunities are just endless. You can kind of do whatever you want. So it's super fun to just like kind of have that dream and want to pursue it however you can. But at the same time, it's like, for those exact same reasons, also incredibly stressful. And like,
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, I'm crushing it and this is awesome and I'm so psyched. And sometimes you're just like, it's like trying to drink out of a fire hose, you're just like, oh my God, like, what do I do next?
There's when you're running a business, there's so much to it that's not, I think even when I started Northwest Alpine, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to like get to make clothes and then go test them. And, that's going to be most of my life. Right. And then you like get into the reality. You're like, nah, there's a little more to it than that. So like, dealing with the financial stuff and bookkeeping and taxes and whatever, all of that. How's that been to learn?
It's been a lot. I'm definitely very grateful for my partner, Ben. He's like came in and, has kind of had a lot of that stuff dialed.
Nice.
Which has been like unbelievably awesome and helpful. Which is funny because honestly, like I had no idea that he was an expert in any of that when we partnered up. We were introduced through like a mutual friend that is a really good friend of mine, and that I trust a lot. And he was like, "Hey, like you guys should link up and meet." And we started climbing a bunch together. And then I had already started Trillium, and Ben was like starting his own Portland-based guide service, and we were kind of just like, dude, it doesn't make any sense for us to both like have this going on and be competing and like dedicate half time to this. Like we should partner up. And so yeah, ever since then it's like we've been working on it together. But yeah, it's funny, like since that conversation, he was like, oh yeah, like I'll do like all the taxes and all the financials. And I was like
perfect.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's great.
It is awesome. So that's been cool. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's so much that like, you wake up one day and you're like, I'm going to start a business, and then I'm going to like, it's going to be sick. I'm going to go climbing every day and like guide all these awesome people in awesome mountains and places I want to go. And then you're like, oh, I guess, I need to get insurance, get all these permits, like make this a sustainable way of, earning money for myself. And like, I think every day you can work towards that vision, but sometimes it seems insurmountable.
Absolutely. That was one of the things I was going to ask about, was insurance. I'm always curious about that because I'm not in the guiding world at all, so I have no idea what that's like, but I would imagine that's a pretty big expense.
Yeah, it's honestly not crazy. I think we pay like, I don't know, $2,300 a year for
that's
like
not bad.
liability insurance. Yeah, it's like super manageable. And then obviously splitting that in half between two people is like, is awesome. There are some funny things though, like at the moment, ice climbing, like pure ice climbing, if you were to go to like Uray or whatever, is unbelievably expensive to insure.
Really?
Yeah.
Like more so than rock climbing, or like if you're doing like alpine stuff too?
Significantly more
really?
so,
wow.
Yeah. So we're able to still offer it basically through like a guest guide situation where like I work as an employee of another company basically in Uray and use their insurance, and still get to kind of like brand and market it as Trillium, which is cool, but it's kind of a different thing. But yeah, one of the funniest conversations I had with the insurance underwriter was like, it's like big red letters, like no ice climbing. And I was like, so when you say like no ice climbing, like what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, and she was like, well, like no ice climbing. I was like, yeah, I understand that, but like, where's the line between like alpine climbing, like climbing steep snow that has ice, or like glacier ice or something, and then ice climbing? And she was like, oh yeah, no, don't worry about it. It's like, it's a pretty clear distinction. And I was like, you're saying that, but like, I don't know. Like, I feel like in my mind, it's obviously take like Uray as an example. It's like, yes, that is ice climbing.
Yeah.
But then you go up on Mount Hood or something and you're like, is this ice climbing? Like, it is ice climbing, but like,
that's interesting. That's really interesting because in my mind, like just pure waterfall ice climbing, like at Uray or whatever, seems like from a risk perspective to be that I would think alpine climbing would be,
Dude,
taking people up Hood would be significantly more.
Totally. Well, that was the other thing too. I was like, Uray seems actually pretty low risk.
Yeah.
Like, you basically have a top rope if you want.
Yeah.
Or like almost everything there has a top rope, and that's like, pretty low risk. But climbing some fucked up thing on Mount Hood is like,
with like a million other
like your life expectancy is just like decreasing every time you go up to the Black Spider,
Yeah. So will you guide? I mean, do you have ambitions to guide stuff like that on Hood, or are you mostly taking people
Definitely
up the south
not
side?
up the Black Spider.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
fuck that. But no, I mean like I would aspire not to guide the south side.
Yeah.
Like I think what I'm aiming to do is like a bit higher level than like, I just want to run this one trip over and over again to like,
Yeah,
pay
that
the
would be
bills.
so
I'd rather
boring.
like fucking just walk off a bridge or something. But sorry,
What
not a tasteful joke.
So
but-
what I mean, so looking at like Mount Hood routes, what would be your, what would you like to guide ideally? You
Yeah.
think would be cool if you had like the right client and all that.
Totally. I mean, I would love to guide like, I don't know, Cooper Spur, Sunshine. Not that those are necessarily like more technically challenging than the South Side, but like they certainly have more adventure factor. Like
Yeah, more
going up, doing a carryover,
sustained
and
stuff,
like
yeah.
climb over to the other side. It's just kind of a more pure adventure in my mind, or like
Nice.
Cathedral Ridge.
Yeah,
something like
That's
that.
what I was
It's
gonna
like-
say. I was gonna ask if have you ever guided that before? Or?
I've never guided it.
Yeah.
I have climbed it though.
Yeah. Super
and it's
good.
it's just like a pure adventure.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of awesome to find, in a place like Mount Hood that has the south side route that's just like,
Mobbed.
or it's like you could do that and it's sort of just like run of the mill everyday outing, but like there's still like real adventure out on Mount Hood, just like go to any other side of the mountain and
Yeah.
dude, I don't know, sometimes standing underneath like on the Reed head wall or on the Reed Glacier, like looking up at the head wall, you're just like, shit, this
Yeah.
is like a big ass mountain. Like this is real terrain right here.
Oh yeah, it's super legit. I feel like
yeah.
as soon as it is awesome, as soon as you drop over like Illumination Saddle, it's like you're on a different planet from the masses.
Dude, totally. Yeah, or going the other way, like standing below the North Gullies, looking up, you're just like, holy shit, this is real. I had a pretty wild experience last year on the North Gullies. I went out there with Adam Snyder, who's another TMG guide, and we were like approaching, got basically to like right below the Bergschrund, and this soloist guy just like came out of nowhere, just like out of the darkness, and past us, and we were like, okay, cool, whatever, we'll just like wait here and you can get ahead and then we'll follow you up. And so he crossed the Bergschrund, climbed the first ice step, and was kind of up to that area, and we were kind of like looking for him, getting ready to go, and the entire Bergschrund, like side to side, front to back, like the entire thing just fucking collapsed.
Shit.
Just like gone, dude. And I thought the entire gully had like avalanched or something. It was this huge like noise, and there was like debris flying everywhere. We were just like, what the fuck, dude? Like this guy just came like 10 minutes away from just total demise and had no idea. And luckily, like we weren't on the bridge or anything like that.
Damn.
But yeah, we managed to like climb down in it and then climb up and out. But just like shit like that happening on Mount Hood, and you'd never know it being on the south side. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's cool. I love that mountain.
Me too. Definitely want to spend more time. Go up there all the time, but now living in Salem, it's a little more difficult. But we've got cool shit down here too. Definitely up Santiam Pass and everything. But
Yeah, it's a cool area.
what? So one more question. What's your what's your goal for the guiding business? Like, do you envision growing it beyond you and Ben, right?
Yeah, Ben.
Beyond you and Ben, to add more guides, or what's your plan?
Yeah, I mean, I think like long term that is certainly something that we would love to do. I think it's hard to like with the amount of work that we've so far made for ourselves, which is quite minimal.
Yeah.
It's like hard to imagine like adding even more people to the operation. But yeah, I mean, I guess like our sort of driving force and our driving idea is to make like high quality, legitimate education and guiding experience opportunities for folks in the Portland area and like all over Oregon to experience like Mount Hood and Smith Rock and learn a very high level like way of climbing and moving through the mountains and existing in the mountains. And so I think if a bunch of people are really psyched on that and like find high value in that and like want more like a like diverse approach to it beyond like what Ben and I can offer, then like hell yeah, we're gonna bring more people in to like offer those experiences. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And then if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Dude, best questions ever, man. Just teeing me up here. You can find us on social media, like Instagram, Trillium Alpine Guides. You can find us on the internet, Trillium Alpine Guides.
We'll put links in the thing.
Yep, totally. And yeah, we haven't, Ben and I aren't young enough to know how to use like TikTok or anything like that.
Nice.
So
I feel
we're
you.
not on
I
that
feel
stuff,
you there.
But, on just like your general run-of-the-mill social media, you can definitely find us there.
Sick.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, great talking to you. Thanks
Cool.
for taking the time to come down, and
Yeah.
stoked.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.